A very, very warm good evening. This is Arunfoot Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arun Foot. It is the 14th, 2025. It's a Wednesday and it's another Indian football discussion to talk about things that are happening or not happening or should be happening in or not are happening in Indian football. So therefore, let's talk about them. So we will be talking about a lot of things. Mikey, good evening as well. Sorry, allergies. Sorry for that. Big news, of course, is the transfer of Edmund Lalrindika from for quite a substantial transfer fee to East Bengal FC, and big move for Edmund, and again a test. It's something that we will have to see. Edmund has some potential. I remember I was actually doing commentary when Edmund set up a goal for East Bengal FC, and got seriously injured and didn't play for them. So he was actually on loan from BFC. Did play a few BFC, but has mainly been a sub at BFC, has mainly played for the BFC reserves, established himself only as a senior level player in the last 2 seasons at Inter Kashi. So for him to establish himself in the I-League will be a test. Again, a lot of people, Ashish, I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well as well. Mikey says, please tell me how much did East Bengal paid for Edmund. Mikey, there are different figures that have been passed around in regard to how much the transfer fee is. It is in the region of crores, supposedly. That's a figure that I think Marcus has also quoted, and I think others have also been around that. And there was an offer which was a little lower from the Blasters, which he seems to have turned down to join East Bengal FC. Good evening, Giron Rare. Welcome back. Did BFC missed trick earlier? Releasing, most probably, is what you mean. Edmund, Giron, you never know, because there have been a lot of players that have been at club A, B, or C, and it's either worked for the club or it's not worked for the club. And then, a player does well somewhere else. BFC gave Edmund a number of chances before releasing him and allowing him to join Inter Kashi, first on loan and then permanently. And he was surplus to this. I mean, East Bengal example most probably would be players like Raul Beke or who are being linked now again with the club. But sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. Because in B team we done really well again. Yeah, but doing well in the B team, getting opportunities in the first team. The question to me is he then good enough? Is he able to do what he needs to do? And to it'll be interesting to see. If he can establish himself in the ISL. He didn't do that at BFC, otherwise BFC would have kept him. And he's not the only one. I think, if you look at players that we've seen, we're talking about Morinol Molla and others, and where are those players now? And that, I think, is the challenge. That's the thing. Who can be the next star boy for Inter Kashi? Mikey, that's going to be an interesting one. It depends on who, and first of all, it depends on where Inter Kashi, which league Inter Kashi is playing, what are they spending, are they going to go for more experienced players, are they going to go for younger players? I think that's the question that one has to sort of look at and then get answered by Inter Kashi. I think that's the challenge that they have. They have a few options, and I think from their side, it is smart business if you see the amount of money to get for such a player who is, and that has to be said, right? He's had a few minutes in the national team, but he's an unproven product in the ISL. Edmund is a player who's good in the I-League, but he's an unproven product in the Indian Super League. One has to be honest about that. He has to prove for East Bengal FC in a squad which already contains Mahesh, it contains David, PV Vishnu, potentially Bipin Singh is joining the team as well, if they can sell him off, but otherwise he's also there. So therefore, for Edmund, there's that Desi competition on one side, but also the foreigners who are going to be ahead of him. Is he being seen more as a number 9? Is he seen more as a number 10? Is he seen more as a winger? That will be also an interesting thing to see. Where does space in that East Bengal FC? Because the other thing one should not forget, East Bengal FC will go again for a massive overhaul, and therefore a player like him will have to find a space. The only advantage, as I said, is that he was for a few weeks at least at East Bengal FC a few years ago. A little bit about the club, about the fans and other things. So therefore, that's, I think, a good thing for him to get into that club. But sadly, his journey with Inter Kashi is over, and therefore he's now going to be with East Bengal FC. Said, did you watch India U19 games in South? So it was sad I've not had the time to watch them, but I've seen the highlights, and yeah, it was. So therefore, let's wait and see. Again, I think we should not be over or underestimating those games. They are, good results. We're scoring, we're missing chances, but still it's important for these boys to get those matches, those international matches under the belt. We shouldn't forget we're playing at home in Arunachal Pradesh, some solid support there, and therefore, if you look at it from that perspective, it's very, very good for the boys. And let's see. When he was playing at left wing for Inter Kashi, yeah. So and there he's got competition, right? PV Vishnu is an option. Mahesh could be an option on that wing as well. So Edmund, Bipin Singh is another name to mention. So he could have quite a bit of competition in that position, and therefore establish himself in that team. And that's not an easy one, I think, for Edmund. But if he wants to stay a national team player, he now has to convince the East Bengal faithful that he can play at East Bengal FC and can perform for the Kolkata Giants. Hi, Stephen. Welcome back. Any update on Coach Manolo? Nothing. I've not heard anything. I'm just waiting for the India team to gather in the coming days. They're supposed to get together. They're supposed to get together in the coming days, and will be interesting to see what is the next step. So that's it. Hi, Ajay. Welcome back. Singa Mayum looks older than 19 years. Stephen, looking older or perceived to be older, I know we've had those conversations here. Always very difficult to judge, the age of a player, I would say. It's always very difficult to say that. For me, very difficult to judge how old a player is. But there are quite a few players who do not look that they should be playing. That's very, very true. Since he moved to East Bengal, I'm in depression. Please tell me how to move on. Mikey, players come and players go. You cannot be in depression for a player leaving your club. Yeah. We were discussing yesterday the behavior of Liverpool Football Club fans towards Trent Alexander-Arnold, who were booing him when he got subbed on. So therefore, for me, players come and players go. Again, I think for Edmund, it was a good stint at Inter Kashi. Should be happy that you've had such a player. Sounds that you are an Inter Kashi fan, and therefore for me, be happy that you've had such a player, and then now you can sort of move on and hope for other players to come in. Let's see. Punjab under team is really good. Yeah, Mayank, the under of Punjab FC have won the U17 Youth League with a win against Jamshedpur FC / the Tata Football Academy. So that's something that's good. When we can expect, I think. I don't know when the Manolo news confirmation would come out. The AIFF seems to be not aware of anything at the moment, from what I have been told. So therefore, we'll have to wait and see if Manolo sticks around. So let's see. So they were scoring goals in set piece, top quality football. Yeah, that's good to see. Important. Let's see. Two marquee players are not bigger than club or country. Yeah, Stephen, that's I think one thing that I always say. Players will come, players will go, and I'm happy when certain players come and certain players go. I understand that the connection that Edmund had, the opportunity that he got at Interkashi was quite big. And let's see. It's gonna be very interesting to see if he actually makes it at East Bengal. It's like football season starting. Everyone is so confused. Again, theoretically, the season starts on June the 1st, right? Officially, it starts on June the 1st, and yeah, and then we'll see. I am in with you and with all others that we don't know what's going to happen, because on one side, the Supreme Court has still not decided on the Constitution. So there's no election. They've told the current temporary AIFF dispensation to wait with any decisions. So that's supposed to be taken by a new body. And so to me, the question here is now, what will happen? I don't know. So therefore, I hope not that the season gets delayed. Certain people have put out certain dates of certain things that competitions are supposed to happen, but I can't tell you. I think nobody can tell you. If anybody can tell you and say, happens to me, yeah, that's the situation of the Indian football season 2025-2026. I don't know what's the mindset of East Bengal FC. They have 5 Indian forwards, if Bipin rumor is true. Now, at least 2 of them. Naurem, Mahesh, Vishnu, Edmund, David, Bipin. Yeah, 4 of them actually left wing. Ajay, very, very right. That's my thought as well. What is from an Edmund perspective, for money, right? Would he have gotten more game time at the Blasters, let's say, or is it Interkashi saying, I take as much as I can get, and we're also saying that they're going to offload. They've not offloaded Nanda so far, so you're saying 2 is going to suffer, maybe even 3 out of those 5 might suffer. We'll have to wait and see. Honestly, we'll have to wait and see. And very, very right in saying they could have actually used the money for the problem they actually have in women backs and defenders. They're trying, right? They've approached Rahul Beke as well as Mehtab Singh as centre backs. But to me, the question is, to those players, Rahul Beke turns 35. So I think that should not be forgotten. So that's something, which one needs to keep in mind. 35 in December, on the 6th of December. And Mehtab Singh is also being sought after by Mohan Bagan. It's a lot of questions that would on how they're trying to solve their problems with Alchung Nonga. I think Nishu Kumar has not been up to the mark. Prabhat Lakra has not been up to the mark. Mohammad Rakib towards the end was probably one of the most dependable. wing on one side, and on the other side, Anwar Ali has been a disappointment for all that has happened around him. So yeah. Good evening, Ishan. Welcome back. Good to see you back here. Yes, so far things are good with me. Hope you're doing good and everybody else is fine as well. Just a quick reminder, really in this live, if you're liking the content, do leave a like behind, share it with others to potentially join us. Let's, as I always love to say, try and grow the community. 3 likes so far. I think we can do better than that. And also do please subscribe to the channel. We're at 2,500 and watch the shorter videos. Seems to be the algorithm has not been helping me, yeah, do watch those shorter videos. Otherwise, the community doesn't grow. Need your help. Did a video earlier today in regard to what's the state at Mohammedan. Very, very confusing state at Mohammedan Sporting. Yesterday did something on Anadin Ajare. Before that on the expanded FIFA Women's World Cup. If that's an opportunity for India, and something I did on Saturday, which I thought is a very interesting one. My advice and suggestions in regard to improvements for the AIFF. If you haven't watched it, do watch that as well. I think it's got some very, very interesting ideas and thoughts in there, which could be interesting to talk about. I can see a trend in all upcoming players choosing money and bigger clubs over more game time and development. Yes, Stephen. That's the reality that we have. I mean, we've spoken a lot about this. And the reality is, you have to decide, right? And Edmund, to me, my advice would have been, if someone asks me, I would have said, Inter Kashi, wherever they're playing, stay with them. You've got your opportunities, right? And at East Bengal is, as much as I hope East Bengal sorts itself out, but it seems again they're all over the place in regard to, if they can sort it out. Yeah, it would be good, but we've seen this now. Again, I'll take a good example, I think, is Suhaib Bhatt. Will he stay at Mohun Bagan, or will he go to a smaller team and loan himself out and get game time? Right. So therefore, that decision needs to be there. So yeah, very, very difficult. I don't think he moved. There were chatters that he moved to Bangalore for family interest, also in his final phase of career. Ajay, if he was moving anywhere for his family, he would have moved to Mumbai, because he's a Mumbai boy. So therefore, and there's been some informal conversations that I've heard that maybe, Rahul Beki could be going back to Mumbai, to Mumbai City, and then, then Mehtab Singh might be on the market. So therefore, there's a lot of these conversations, rumors are around. So let's see what happens. In South region, only India and Pakistan football going down, rest nations doing progress. Again, I think even Pakistan is doing progress. Look at how the women's team have improved from nowhere over the last few years. They're trying to integrate players. You should always remember that the Pakistan Football Federation is a big, big mess. So therefore, that's it. I think the Maldives are struggling the most. I think Maldives 15, 20 years ago were actually a team who used to challenge the Indian football team once in a while. So I would say that Bangladesh, yes, has been progressing. Bhutan has been progressing in its small self. So yeah, I would not fully agree on that. And India has its own problems, right? Hi, Blue. Owen staying at Chennai and FC thoughts. I thought it should be over, but they're giving them a chance. Mistakes. I think it's a mistake. I think Owen Coyle, even after the last season, the things that he did, that he said, to me, not very positive. I would have advised them and said, guys, restart. Look for a restart. Try and build. That would have been sort of my piece of advice to them if anyone asked me. And therefore, yeah, very difficult to say, but let's wait and see. But to me, Chennai needed something else, I feel. as Inter-Kashi fan, it's waiting for me. We are just 2-year-old club, and it seems everyone is against us. Not a football expert. Nice name and nice icon you have for yourself. I don't think everybody, against Inter-Kashi. I think Inter-Kashi going to CAS has given Inter-Kashi some support. In the Indian football ecosystem. Inter-Kashi, so I wouldn't say against you. And transfers of players coming and going is normal. Welcome to the world of football. And I think that if the numbers are right that are being said in regard to the amount that supposedly were paid for Edmund to move to East Bengal, then Inter-Kashi did everything right, because a player of Edmund's class will be available in Inter-Kashi. That is surely visible. Chennai FC deserves attacking coach. I agree. Rare. I think with the options that they had last season, very interesting to see. Also in regard to players, it looked like Connor Shields was gone. I thought they already tapped him up. Connor Shields was one of the first ones that I remember was in the mix. No talk about it at this moment, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. What if some of our clubs have Wrexham-like story? Rhythm would be great, but a Wrexham-like story in the city, in the region, the club, the fans. I don't know where that Wrexham story lies in India. I think even other clubs, I know that people are trying to, at Salford, they're trying to recreate now with the investment and others. I think Wrexham is it's a very, very special story. They've done a lot of things right to be where they are, and they've achieved a lot because of that. And to me, therefore, Wrexham AFC is a very unique story. I think to replicate Wrexham, even in the English system or even somewhere else, is going to be very, very difficult, because that's how football is, right? And therefore there are others who've tried these kind of things, right? There are others who are pumping in a lot of money in the Birmingham City, of course, the other team which were promoted from League One to so yeah, that's it. Now Noguera is linked with East Bengal as per news. Blue, as far as I know, that news is fake. There is no Alberto Noguera link to East Bengal FC. That is something that people, at the moment, it is not true. Can still happen, but at the moment, there is no link. Chennai FC also messed up their signing of Gurkera. They said they have long-term plan last year under the same coach and now trying to sell. Ajay, these players have not lived up to the expectations. Gurkera was brought in with a lot of hope, with a lot of expectations. Interesting, Irfan Yadwad is the one who has sort of made his spot in that team, in that club, unlike the others. So that's an interesting one, I would say. And Gurkirat Kianasi, brought with a lot of expectations. Others like Namte took their chance. Will be interesting to see what they do, right? So therefore, Jiteshwar has extended his contract. Will be interesting to see. Gurkirat, maybe we would have had more game time if he had stayed at Mumbai City, interestingly, right? But the problems is last season, or this season, sorry. Good evening, Hypermaster 823. I am doing well. Understand that you were monitoring something else, but good to see you back. And let's talk Indian football. Dream 11 investing in Salford. They are part of a group, I think, of 9 different investors. I don't even know how much they put in. I think they put in something or the other. Salford, I think the access to the class of 1992 of those Manchester United boys, I think that's what is driving Salford. But is it something that is really working? I honestly don't know if it has worked or not. But to me, that's why it's going to be interesting if Salford really can do achieve something. It'll be interesting to see, because they of course missed the League Two playoffs by 1 point. Yeah, they finished 8th, 1 point behind Chesterfield and Salford City. To see. So therefore, they're part of a huge consortium. Dream 11 investing in different sports things. Yes, they are. Messi cancelled India visit. Hypermaster India, Messi was never coming to India. So there's no cancellation of a visit. It was an option that the Kerala potentially had to bring in Lionel Messi and the Argentinian national team. There is a huge cost involved to that, to bring Argentina to India. Same thing happened with Bangladesh. Bangladesh wanted to bring them over after the World Cup, but they weren't able to do that. And therefore, in my opinion, there is no cancellation of some sort, but it is something that was bound to happen, in my opinion, and therefore there is no Argentina coming later this year. Don't think that investment is going to help us. Not a football expert. That's not an investment also for Indian football. Has Dream 11 invested anything in Indian football so far? I mean, would be my question to you guys. Have they done something which you see which is interlinked to Indian football, where they've made an investment into Indian football? No, they haven't, right? So therefore, these are realities. So me, it's a strategic investment from their side. I'm just trying to see where it is written. If you see the names which are interlinked, they've got 9 shareholders as a consortium by David Beckham and Gary Neville, which includes Dream Sports Group, Colin Ryan, Frank Ryan, Nick Woodhouse, and Shravin Mittal, also an Indian origin investor. So therefore, let's wait and see what they do, right? It is good for our overall market, especially in terms of creating jobs for youth. This has nothing to do with Indian football. Therefore, it has nothing to do, right? Good thing they won't pay more than 100 just for a day or two. That's the good thing in regard to the Argentina game not happening in India. Dream 11 also owns Mumbai Dreamers of Rugby Premier League. Yes, Seven Raj, they've done some strategic investments or doing some strategic investments. Let's see. In the end, Dream 11 is ruining the youth and they're building themselves. I don't think they're ruining the youth. Again, could be interpreted by people in that way. But yeah, everybody is there whenever they do themselves. Sergi, we need a concern. As sponsors should raise concern about neutral value for next India versus Bangladesh. You could pass it on to the sports minister. The sports minister could go to the AIFF, and the AIFF could go to AFC, and AFC will tell you there's no problem. I don't know what can be said, right? You're saying current situation, Bangladesh hates us of the political situation, changing AFC should try and work on it. No, AFC will, again, as someone will know, there is nothing, right? So therefore, this is you, for me, for everyone. These are all media news stories, and the question is, what should the AIFF do? And the AIFF, and this is not a matter of the sports minister could go, and then they'll say, you know what? Okay, India doesn't want to play much. We understood. Pass it to the AFC disciplinary committee, and they will say 3 points, 3-0 for Bangladesh. What do we want to do then? So that's the reality. Sheffield United versus EFC Sunderland. Winners to qualify for Premier League. I would like Sunderland to qualify. It's been 10 years, I think they're out of EPL. Yeah, nearly 10 years. They went down as far as League One. Dramatic win against Coventry City last night in the 122nd minute. old story about what happened to Rangers and BFC partnership post-Corona. I'll tell you nothing. A lot of things were announced just before. I mean, BFC and Rangers did a few things, amongst others, of course. BFC helped and felicitated Baladevi playing for Rangers women, and some exchanges also happened, but it's died out. It's like Borussia Dortmund had a tie-up with Hyderabad FC, RB Leipzig had a tie-up with FC Goa. All of them died out due to COVID in 2020, and none of these partnerships have been rekindled. And as Gilray says, PFC Rangers partnership is no more now. Yeah, all of these have literally died out. So none of these partnerships have survived the test of time. Yes, sir, this investment on related to football, Dream 11 trying to take over Willow TV as they're interested in broadcasting. Yeah, that's the same thought process as Fancode, or one would say Shachi Sports with SSEN, because that makes it easier for you to sort of control the eco space. And I think India can do, because the broadcast space is very biased. On one side, Star Sports, and on the other side, Sony. Nothing else, because Sports 18 has merged with the Sony network because of of that partnership, and you only have Fancode on one side. On the other side, you have SSEN. Otherwise, I think we can do with 3, 4, 5 most probably platforms in a streaming space besides 2 broadcasters. All right, once more reminder, like, share and subscribe to arunfoot. 9 likes today, and those of you who might be new to the channel, do subscribe to the channel. Be part of our nearly daily conversations on Indian football. We're at 2,539 at the moment. Thanks to all of you who've subscribed. Be part. Ask your questions. Register, subscribe, and so therefore, yeah. Tiri linked with Northeast United. Arnav, I'm hearing this for the first time. I haven't heard this so far, so can't comment. Hypermaster 823 says, after Supreme Court verdict, I see Indian football gone. National team coach steps down. Let's see next. New election wave. Expect better regime. Nice president. Those who do work. The national coach so far has not stepped down. That is something that I and others have heard. I heard it, a few weeks ago that Manolo, his role with the Indian national team, I think he's not happy with the AIFF. He's not happy with the players as well. Therefore, there have been these rumors that Manolo would be potentially leaving. And elections, I don't know. Supreme Court could call an election, but is that the answer to our problem, to solve our problems? Would be my question. Would the right people come forward to get elected? That's the challenge that we have with the AIFF at this moment in time, and therefore I would say we'll have to wait and see what is the next step with the AIFF, its new constitution or its new draft constitution, potential elections, who could come in, who could take over, and so let's see. Boy was in life of AIFF YouTube live that he said he had nothing from Manolo Gora about contracts. Okay. And I've heard something. At least with the national team, I've heard. So therefore, I can only say that. Someone else might have not, so therefore, for me, but again, with FC Goa, nothing has been signed so far. So that's the one thing. Goa has also not announced a new coach. So that's, which I find wanted to have a coach in place. So let's see. Bangalore FC currently have partnership with Rangjit Janadasi, which makes more sense to me. Yeah, but that's of course the family of Eugene and Lingdo are owners of Rangdajit. That makes sense in regard to try and tap talent from Meghalaya for BFC. I think East Bengal will face the same issue as Mohun Bagan, Supergiant with Sal and Thapa, with whom to place and whom to bench. Enough, yeah. Will be interesting because East Bengal have other positions with problems, as we discussed earlier on in this live. And the question is if East Bengal are going to fill those positions with the right players. That's going to be the question, I think, for all. Can they the issues and problems, and again, is it a good move? I don't know. So therefore, for me, it will be interesting to see. Who's replacing Armando? Arnav, you mean Armando Sadico? Nothing confirmed from FC Goa. What happened to the other ISL clubs in the transfer market? They aren't that much active. Mohammed Supergiant will run away with League Shield again if other teams don't show intent in strong team building. I think Guardiola, to me, the point is nobody knows if there will be a next ISL season, right? So East Bengal and Mohun Bagan seem to be active, literally throwing money at players. This is, again, yeah. But the others are waiting. What is going to happen? I think a lot of them are waiting to see if something gets sorted. I know that a lot of people are now suddenly worried, scared about the future, what will happen to Indian football. And that will be the test, right? Therefore, others are calm and quiet. I did a video on Mohammedan Sporting and the status of Mohammedan Sporting. I mean, Mohammedan Sporting, if things don't get sorted, Mohammedan Sporting might not even play at the national level. I mean, things are that bad at this moment in time. So therefore, that's why clubs are calm and quiet and waiting to see what happens. You will get players. I know that some of the foreigners who are showing interest potential to come to India will look at what is the political situation, what is the situation between India and Pakistan, and some players might not say. Do you rate Vincent Kompany as the appointment last summer? How do you assess the season? Stephen, I have to say, Vincent Kompany came in after Julian Nagelsmann and Thomas Tuchel. Thomas Tuchel has shown at other clubs what he's capable of doing, but at Bayern, it was just a misfit. Julian Nagelsmann, they, in my opinion, too early. I think they should have kept him. Vincent Kompany's done a good job because it's, again, a team. He's trying to play in a certain way that fits the club. And therefore, I think he's done good. He's done good in the Bundesliga, unlucky in the cup. You know, Leverkusen, one man down, the better team. But still, and in the Champions League, yeah, against Inter, if you're a little smarter, Bayern wins the game and wins the tie. So, okay, good season. But again, let's see who they sign, who they can bring in and strengthen next season. Hypermaster 823 says, I want a person to see as AIFF president who are very influential, popular, just like Jay Shah, those who can clean whole AIFF of corruption, viruses, cancer, and make AIFF like BCCI. Yeah. So you're telling me that there is no corruption in the BCCI? I don't know. It's nice, your thought process, but yeah, let's see what happens. Ajay answers here on rare. Yeah, Bangalore FC partnerships also partner with Dubai's H16 Sports. Yeah. Gyan says, want to see a good foreigner, a league like Hugo, not the aged ones like Wine. I think to get a Hugo Bomas in his prime or players of his class is not easy in an Indian Super League context. Let's be honest about that. You have to try and get them with a lot of money and convincing, which I think is not always easy. That's a massive challenge, to say the least. And therefore, for me, if you ask me in that way, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Who comes over and who shows to come to India to play, to coach. And will be very interesting to see this summer, right? So I think it could be a long summer, because very interesting to see. This is my dream. I want to see Indian person as FIFA president. Hyper Master. Who could be FIFA president as an Indian? I don't even see someone really fit to be AIFF president. I don't see an Indian to be president. Yeah, even AFC. It's a nice thought, but I don't. Sorry, it's a nice thought, but I don't see. Yeah, that is something. Ajay answers Hypermaster, but money involved in opposite attract images like Jay Shah. Yeah, and again, cricket is in India at a totally different level on all fronts. So therefore, yeah, that's fine. Where is Amit Jahu? Mayank is supposedly retiring and then becoming a coach. That's what I've heard about Amit Jahu. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Can Mumbai become as competitive as they were a few years back? I feel they aren't spending much from the last year at national team. Player is shifting to Kolkata sides. Guardiola, it's as I said, in general, at the moment, most of the ISL teams are lying low. Some of them have made some signings here and there, have extended contracts here and there. Clubs are worried about the future, which might be an advantage to East Bengal and Mohun Bagan in setting their house. Mohun Bagan's house is in order. They just need to sort out a few positions, I would think. But Mumbai City needs to see. Mumbai City, there's no clarity if Peter Kratky is going to stay. I think that decision, let's hear. If Kratky stays, if Sujay stays. So to me, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I would like to see Mumbai City spending and building a new team, and that has to be done, right? The rebuilding last summer will be interesting. Most of the foreigners will be released, if not all, and then we'll see what happens. Jamal Musiala had a below average season. Do you think it's due to Michael Olise signing? Stephen, I think he had an okay season. He had some injury issues, especially towards the end. But yeah, Michael Olise was a good value addition at Bayern Munich, and that has helped the club. Amit Jahu, no more interested in playing football. He will do something else in football. Yeah, it's supposed to be getting into coaching. Yeah, not what I think. That was what I've been told. Your next trip to India, Mayank, supposedly I would have been in India this week, but with all that was happening, I've at least postponed it by 4-6 weeks. So I should be most likely back in late June, maybe early July. Let's see. Nothing finalized, but yeah, I'll be back in the coming weeks and months. Your favorite Özil or Kroos? Mayank, Tony Kroos, no doubt about that. Interacting with Tony Kroos a few times in his time at Bayern Munich. I remember I met the 17-year-old Tony Kroos at the time. So therefore, has always been one of my favorites, and I think the most underrated of his generation. I think he's been one of the best footballers ever in regard to his capabilities, what he's done at Bayern, especially at Real Madrid, and also winning the World Cup with Germany. So let's see. There are rumors that Jackson might leave East Bengal. Do you think it's good for both parties if there's a swap between KK and Jackson? I think for Jackson, it would make sense to leave East Bengal. I think it didn't work out. In the way that it's game time, but he needs also those players around him to be able to perform. Injuries were there. So yes, I've not heard about a swap between Rahul Baker and Jackson. Hearing it from you. And to me, yeah, it's a question of where could Jackson go. The problem is Jackson has one of the highest salaries in Indian football. So would a Jackson be willing to forfeit some of that money to be able to go to ABCD club, right? That's going to be a big question that he, would. Do you think Rajavardhan Singh Rathore can be good AIFF president? Stephen, where does the name come from? Never heard Singh Rathore ever in connection with Indian football. So again, I influential in sports. I don't know. I wouldn't know. He's a former sports minister, as a former Olympian, but what's the value for Indian football to have someone like him? I don't know where this name for you comes up from. Who's the best nice coach? Those who have best international domestic experience for India. Upper Master, there are tons of coaches who could be interesting for India. I say that I would like to have someone with international experience rather than someone with ISL links. I think we're falling into that trap now with Manolo. Manolo, to me, is a great coach in the ISL over the last few years, one of the best. But he hasn't understood that international football is something else than club football. So he's picking some of those players where I think, oh, why is he picking Sohail Bhatt? Sorry, doesn't deserve to be in that team. It's just not, for me, good enough to be a player in the Indian national team. Right. So those are the ones where I say, what is the coach doing? How is he doing? How is he putting all of those together? And therefore, to me, I want someone who's got certain level of experience, understanding, is able to develop, is pragmatic, is realistic in his approach, and we play this, we're gonna have this, we gotta do that. It will not work in an Indian football system. We have to be honest or realistic on that front. So for me, therefore, not going to throw out names, but I think there are, there's a need. How do you see Albert Roca as Indian team coach, sir? Again, as I said, I don't want anyone with sort of ISL links in there. I want someone fresh, unconnected, coming in, having a look, deciding, okay, this guy can play international football. This guy, I don't think build his team. I would like to do that. Someone pragmatic to come in. If, again, we're saying the big if Manolo comes in and if Manolo comes and says, listen, I'm leaving. Zidane or Kroos? Steven, Kroos. Yeah, to me, Kroos. Kroos. Did you watch Edmund's Kolkata derby performance live? He was literally cooking that day. Unfortunately, got injured after 15 minutes. Guardiola, not only did I watch it live, I was the expert on that day for the broadcast. So I was actually talking on that broadcast. And was actually impressed. You even see there's this the clip of the video with his goal, which has now been going around, and you hear my not only there, but I was there very, very closely. Rajwar is ex-Olympian, I think, ex-sports minister. Is personal question or no news from anyone. Yeah, but is an ex-Olympian, ex-sports minister, that's your qualification to be AIFF president? I don't know, right? Some sort of football link would be, If we don't qualify, then Manolo leaves, right? Mank, most probably, but again, the conversation at this moment is that Manolo might be leaving earlier, right? So therefore, I'm not sure what is happening or brewing, let's put it this way. Because at the moment, I think a lot of conversation is going around that Manolo could be leaving earlier. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. But if he doesn't qualify, his contract runs out next summer anyway. Maybe stay till June or maybe leave after March if we're out of the qualifiers. So yeah, that's the thing. Future striker, according to you, Mr. Ham Vlog. That's a good question. Who is a future striker? I don't see anyone as a future striker at this moment. And I'll tell you what I thought 20 years ago. If you had certain names in there, we had Baichung at that time. Ambijan was just winding down. We had the young Vimal Pariyar. Lalam Puya was a very talented striker. And there was no Sunil Chhetri actually in the mix. So I hope somewhere we have someone who I'm not thinking about, you're not thinking about, who could be a player for us to make the cut. And therefore, yeah, but I don't have a name, right? I mean, some people will mention Edmund, David. So I don't know if these boys, I hope someone proves me wrong and succeeds. But if I have to mention one, I would rather more currently go for an Irfan Yadwar. Even Rahim Ali to me gives me more assurance with the workload and all that stuff is also needed as an India striker. Wish we have Bob right now as a coach if he will be better in position. Could have been. I think Bob was very, very special. Uh, 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 so, yeah, but Bob is not there. So, yeah, let's wait and see. I mean, this has its own set of issues. It's not settled. But I think, yeah, with time, Bob would have gotten something out of them. Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Sergey, if USA and Russia and China boycott their Olympics, so as India, why we put not concerned about next India-Bangladesh away match, we need neutral venue. This is too important. We've said this now X number of times, and there's not going to be a neutral venue. If there is, if things get worse, then we can talk about a neutral venue. Let's say in India-Pakistan situation, we can talk about a neutral venue. But, to me, there is no reason. I mean, Bangladesh was in India. Yeah. So do you really think we can qualify as a current condition, Mike? I think yes, and I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of things being said about the group. Bangladesh is getting better, Hong Kong is getting better, Singapore is getting better, and this and that and everything. And if I look at the overall situation, one match played, 2 goalless draws, all 4 teams 1.00 goal. So therefore, for me, everything to play for. So 5 matches to go. We have to give it everything. Let's see. The current president was ex-footballer, so just wanted to know your opinion. Do you have any names you would consider? See, even for me, the current president highlights the point that I have said even before he even got into the mix, that the leadership position in a federation needs to be with people who have a certain understanding of sports management, sports administration. An ex-player who has not studied sports management in some sort of form way, post his career, very rarely will cut it anywhere in the world. So therefore, for me, I have a few names in my mind, few people. Let's see what happens. Miguel needs a gun number 6 to excel in midfield. Will Shovik be enough for that at this age? I don't think so. Then have to go for any foreigner. See, that's the problem, Garuda. That is how you're going to build a team. What's your structure? And I think if you want a Miguel to excel, then the question is, for a player like that, most probably if you have an Indian behind him, most probably you will need an Apuya. And I don't see any other. And, keep in mind, Nikhil Prabhu will not come. Yeah, but even Nikhil, is Nikhil really the guy who's going to be able to cover him that way? I don't know. Hi, Maximus. What are your thoughts about Robbie Hansta as a striker? Talented, but has to prove himself. Again, I know about that goal. Has to showcase himself in the ISL, right? So therefore, that's not easy. It'll be interesting to see what he can do, but he has to do more, right? Mano's not fit for national team because he's not that kind of person who can deal with national team selection. I think he can, if you see how he's handled at his clubs, but he needs the daily work with the players to try and develop them. So for me, that's the problem. Manolo in 5-7 days is not gonna be able to change that. Can we appoint Japanese coaches or a project-oriented coach who has been successful in his past projects? That's a question to ask the AIFF. I mean, to me, the nationality is not the issue, the topic. For me is who is the right coach? Coach to take us forward, right? Right, and yeah, that is something which you need to look at, and from that perspective, that's a huge challenge. Whoever takes it on. So therefore, yeah, got it. Someone with sports management education or work experience in sports management. Stephen, ideally, that would be someone, running the federation. And for me, again, watch, not only you, but everyone, watch the video that I did. My advice, suggestion to improve Indian football, say, what I feel, what the AIFF needs to do, right? So therefore, for me, that is something which I have said, and I stick to that. That's something which I feel is very, very important. So therefore, yeah. Just posting that link once again here in the live feed. To me, that's something which I think is I'll pin it to the top as well, so you can click on it if you want to. So to me, that's very, very important, right? The structure of the AIFF needs to be right with the right people. I want the Nilanjan Datta back in AIFF as president. He's an amazing person to answer. I want that. Given rare, as much of respect I have from our good old friend Nilanjan, he would never be in a position to be president with what is demanded of an AIFF president, right? So therefore, yeah, Manda, why not? But I don't think Manda will leave the project at Northeast United. So again, yeah, interesting suggestion. I don't see as real candidates. Which formation you will have? 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, 4-3-3, or other? Hypermaster, if you ask me, 4-2-3-1 would be my preferred formation, which I like. Even though I also like a 3-4-3, like a classic Ajax Amsterdam formation. So yeah, so therefore for me, yeah. Hi, Punjab, Sri Lankan German origin player Claudio. Yeah, Claudio helped his team to remote Dresden gain promotion to Bundesliga 2. Their defense looked very stable. Their left back play for Brisbane Roar, one still playing in Liga 2. Punjab, they've brought in a lot of quality origin players. Have done a lot of things right in the recent past, and yeah, I'd say Sri Lanka if they interesting to see how they settle down now. That'll be the real question. But they've brought in a lot of talents. Thoughts about U19 SAF squad? Maximus, at the moment, it looks very good after 2 games. But again, I always say, be careful. It's SAF, and second, we're playing at home, and India at home and away is always this way and that way. So therefore, I'm very, very careful. So this is what it is. Surely watch it. Thanks, Stephen. Do watch it. I think I give some ideas. Maybe you can, ask, reply what your thoughts are on those things. Also to the others, I pinned that one to the top with some installation to prove AIFF is a video which I did a few days ago. Have a look at it. Sorry. What are your thoughts on these things? Why people like I am Vijay and Bhutia just want to remain in technical committee? Again, do they want to remain in technical committee or they're put in? Just a question. I don't think Vijubhai or Bhutia have themselves put themselves into the technical committee. They are seen to be the legends of Indian football. This has been the notion, no, that legends of Indian football. You've had Sham Thapa and other people in there. But the technical, my question would be again: is in India, do we need a technical committee? First question, right? So we have bodies which we've had for X years, decades, whatever. So therefore, that's a reality. We India are not poor country, wealthy country, worth fourth largest economy, 4 trillion. But why we can't afford best quality coach, player, VAR, etc. Why we can't afford world class facilities, etc. Hypermaster, India is the fourth largest economy. Why? Because it's a country of 1. Is India a poor country? No, it isn't. But is it the wealthy country? I think look at how the average Indian lives. So that is first reality. Our football is not able to spend because the investment is not there, right? So therefore, for me, if you want to spend, there needs to be more money coming into the Indian football system, which is not happening at this moment in time, right? So that's a real problem of Indian football. So therefore, for me, if things could, would, should need to change, a lot needs to happen. And a lot of more investments. Now, world-class infrastructure is nice to have, but a lot of players from a lot of countries come from infrastructure which is as good or even worse. So therefore, world-class infrastructure, as I say, is a nice gimmick to have. It's a bonus, but is it really what we need? I don't think it is what we need. We need things to be able to move in direction that we can improve faster and better. After Argentina was France FIFA World Cup 2020. Okay, Hypermaster. None of them need to be in technical committee, but it won't help us. These people can be better as admins of AIFF and its vertical. So you're saying the technical committee should be admins of AIFF? Okay. Or did I understand? Wait, let me read it again. None of them need to be in technical committee, but it won't help us. These people can be better as admins of AIFF and its vertical. So you think that they would be better? No, administrators. So I don't know if that's the right direction. Our under 19 team have not done well in the AFC qualifiers. It's been a very long time we've qualified for AFC U20. Asian Cup. The last time, 2006, we hosted it. So we've not qualified for over 20 years. That's a reality. And let's wait and see what they can do. It's quite a bit of a challenge. Yeah, interesting. This team could, should, would do. but yeah, this at the moment they're getting good exposure. So let's see what happens. Right, an hour and 5 minutes plus. Those of you who haven't liked the conversation, if you're liking the content, do leave a like behind. Share it with others as well. 13 likes so far. I think we can do better than that. And those of you who might be new, you're liking what we're having. 2,541 subscribers. Thank you very much. And those of you who are new, join the conversation, ask your questions, mention your viewpoints, and we will try and discuss it over here. Like Next Gen Cup, more and more youth international tournaments should be organized for Indian clubs so they will gain more exposure. Maximus would be nice, but again, this is something that the Premier League is doing. It's good exposure on one side, but we have to be honest. We are playing older boys with under 21, sometimes even under 23s against under 18s from England. So that's also reality. Hi Kumar, welcome back. Sorry, technical committee with Steam Much invited as Baba. Remember, sir, to do some tantra. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Sergi, how much we in football can make money? Like $1 million, billions of trillions, etc. Like world's richest football. Hypermaster, for Indian football needs to grow, right? And if it wants to grow, it is at a stage where it's not growing to the level it needs, right? And for Indian football to grow, for more money to come in, again, first of all, the structure needs to be good. The AIFF needs to be managed well. So that's one. And there needs to be more interest. More people need to be interested in Indian football, all of that. And then maybe we can see a growth. So that's something which is there. So let's wait and see what happens, but it's not so easy. Maxim, why should someone arrange youth cup at international level for our club junior team? No brainer what they will get. Yeah. So sadly, reality. This is a PR competition from the Premier League, and that's why Premier League's Next Gen Cup happens. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. Around that, transfers are going on in ISL like left, right, and center. What future of ISL is in dilemma? Not happening left, right, and center. It is mainly discussions around the two big Kolkata clubs: who's coming, who's going. I will answer Wasim's question about Mohammedan after this. The one or the other transfer sales are there, or retention by the one or the other club. But overall, not much movement. So that's of what's happening, or rather what's not happening in Indian football. So therefore, to me, a lot of the clubs are taking a wait and watch approach, and so yeah. So therefore, that's something. Mohammedan Sporting Kakoi update, sir. Wasim, I did a video specifically on this topic today. Watch the short video, what's happening at Mohammedan Sporting Club, where I explain in quite detail what is all happening or not happening at Mohammedan Sporting, what should be happening with all its issues and problems, so do watch that video if you want more detailed information. At the moment, Mohammedan Sporting, Balka Hill seems to have disappeared. Shachi wants to know if it would get the share. The club management has now gone to Mamta Banerjee hoping for the help. So let's see what happens. Now the global football market value is about $99 billion. I read from Athletic UK. Okay, Kumar. One of the biggest problems with our football is our talent, which impacts overall things. Yeah, consistency is a general problem. So it's a general problem here and there, right? Consistency. Forget talent. Consistency. How many players have we seen? that we speak about a player for a year or two, and then suddenly that player is gone, right? We don't discuss about him anymore. So that's a general problem in Indian football. It's been around for a while. Maxis is just like Reliance is organizing this Next Gen Cup by collaboration with Premier League. These are getting massive promotion along with the Youth Foundation is getting more money. How is the Youth Foundation getting money? They're spending money. It is this next being organized by Reliance. It's a Premier League thingy where, because of the partnership of the Premier League and the ISL teams or teams who play in the RFDL are allowed to take part. So this is they spend. There's no money making in this. This is expenditure for all sides. What is the percentage of earnings made from ticket sales versus other earnings in ISL? Oh, Stephen, I wouldn't know the exact numbers, but you know, with most clubs, 5 to 10% at max. Some might be even less, depending on how many tickets. Indian cricket, we see IPL fever and world via ISL like tournament done. Didn't make that international like fever, Premier League, Vasa, EU level. Hypermaster, because there is no IPL fever in the world. First mistake. The IPL is an Indian thing, right? Cricket is an Indian thing. So therefore, there is no fever in the world for the IPL. I don't know where you guys get that from. Maybe that's being sold to you, but there is no IPL fever. I don't even know who's top of the table here in Germany. Ask people in Europe if they know what the Indian Premier League is. They would say, oh, Indian Premier League, most of them think it's a football league, right? Or a hockey league. And football, to go to that, as I said, we need to grow Indian football. And it's not, it needs to, cricket is at a different level. Let's not do that comparison. Now how these Kolkata clubs become professional club structure. Kumar, get rid of the old club structure and let it be managed by professionals. Look at Mohun Supergiant. It's not AC. It is managed by Mr. Goenka's people. Very good. Simple example. Maximum of this Premier League Next Gen Cup is limited to Knowledge Park of Mumbai. So it's just Reliance making name for it. Looks Shiva Shakti was beasting at 17 do blunders in ISL. King Gamrare. Kumar says, I didn't have interest in South Championship United. Ultimately, they have to perform on AFC Championship. Kumar, yeah, AFC level, but you should be supporting the team, whatever they're playing, right? So therefore, support the team, support the boys, whatever they're playing, whenever they're playing. I think all of us need to support the Indian football teams, not just team, but teams, whenever the boys are playing. And that's, I think, in my opinion, very important support. You know, that's crucial if we want to have, you know, more support for Indian football, yeah, in the long run. There is no IPL fever in northeast of India. We don't need to cross borders, says Stephen. Yeah, very true. Have high viewership because so many Asian people and Indian people live outside India in different parts of the globe. Otherwise, in playing terms, it's limited game. It doesn't have high viewership. It's you know. What do you think about Nikhil Prabhu? Where should he go? Heard rumors from everywhere as most teams need Indian central defense midfielder. I would say Navi Mumbai boy. I would like to see what Mumbai City. I think there have been conversations also with Mumbai City. So let's see. I know that I think the Kolkata clubs have given up on him. So I would like to see. What I meant to say is that if Reliance can do that with Premier League, then why not other big guns that collaborate with La Liga, Bundesliga, maybe the Saudi Pro Leagues, pro clubs? That would be great. Why should they? I mean, my question is, Reliance is not cooperating with the Premier League. This is a Premier League product which is coming to India because they want to promote themselves, right? Adanis are not involved in football. Tata's involved with Tata Jamshedpur FC. Why? Why would the others do it? So therefore, they've got different approaches in regard to doing things. If Supreme Court includes promotion relegation in AIFF constitution, will FSC be forced to start relegation ISL in the upcoming season? On one side, I think the Supreme Court doesn't have jurisdiction in regard to what is the format of a league, because we come again to the point, law of sports is above law of the land. So again, if that theoretically FIFA could come in, and again, at the moment, we don't even have a next season of the ISL. So to me, the promotion relegation part should not be. Why should it be in the constitution of the federation? I don't even understand why it is. The federation constitution should simply say that the federation overall manages football in India, governs football in India, and can have commercial partners who organize the league. That's how the Premier League runs. That's how the Bundesliga, MLS, A-League, Saudi Pro League, whatever, they're all independent bodies from their national federations. So that is, I think, the key point in regard to how we could, would, should, need to sort of run our system in regard to, as one of the authors of the roadmap, I think the roadmap is very often misinterpreted, because the roadmap is not, you have to go by this. The starting point was clear to make the ISL the top league. East Bengal, Mohun Bagan make the switch. And at some stage you've got in. And then after a while, relegation sets in. Now, due to COVID, all of that is, so therefore, it makes no sense. And I have to say that the growth of the ISL in regard to becoming to 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 teams, we've not grown our players base. So the standard of the ISL has actually dropped in the last 2-3 years, quite dramatically. So that's also a reality. Correction myself, in world cricket environments, Apple is in top, so why we can't make it football world also like ISL? Because in cricket, there are no other big competitions like the IPL. In football, 211 countries play football. The comparison doesn't work. It's the only global sport. And in Europe, you have a setup which has been there for over a century. Over a century. So therefore, it's not that easy. We played with Uppermass is not even popular in Asia. J League and lower division, and now other leagues is at different level. Yeah, even the J League is not popular in West Asia, and the Saudi Pro League is surely not popular in East Asia. So Indian League doesn't even start. All Indian players are world-class players in SAF Youth Championship. They become average players in AFC qualifiers in youth, and the AFC Championship players are fall flat to earth. Who says we're world-class players in SAF Youth Championship? Kumar. Yes, I understand where you're coming from. Oh, you're great. We're okay. I get that. The pendulum swinging. But the point is, that's not the case, right? We are still of the same level. Again, this is struggling at SAF under 20. So let's be honest about that. So therefore, I wouldn't be so harsh. Marcus has confirmed that consent has been sent to FIFA, and FIFA is okay with it. He has also confirmed that it won't lead to a ban. So FIFA has not cleared the AIFF constitution. It has too many issues in it still. And FIFA is not okay with it. Yeah. So what am I going to say on that, right? A suggestion for Indian football fans: start watching different leagues of Asia, like Singapore League, J League, Jordan League. Then you will realize where we relax and where we stand. Yeah, very good point, Gandra. It's hard to believe, but the three current best attacking play for East Bengal, namely Vishnu, David, Edmund. Do you call a 26-year-old in Edmund a prodigy of Indian football? Just asking a question. Right? So that's my first question. David, Vishnu is a little younger, but is that, if these are your biggest attacking prodigies, it already shows us where our problem lies. I think there are others who are more potentially prolific than these guys. Reid Edmonds signing on his growth and game time. Gaming Warrior is a good question. Maybe a step back. He's gone for the money. That's clear to me. So therefore, for me, not a wise move, because he's not an established ISL player. He's had the last 2 years were his best, and yeah, and that is something which is with so many players in the positions that he can play, the foreigners on top of that. I hope he makes it to East Bengal, because that's important for him and for India as well. But will he make it? I have my doubts. I hope he doesn't turn out to be another Edmund, another David, gets a few minutes, scores the goals here and there, and everybody goes, there's not enough game time. And we see that, to me, a prime example of that is in Ishan Pandita, who's never been really a starter at the ISL level. Yes, he did come in, huge impact at the start, even in the national team, scored a few goals, but then injuries, this, that, everything, minimal game time, and didn't work. Oh, now that I'm sarcastic about that, Kumar, then mark it, because how do I know that you're being sarcastic? It has been solved by a consultation with FIFA. Surya Kiran, no, it's not. So that's my point. And that's not factually right, because then a lot of things would not be in that constitution, which are clearly wrong, because the AIFF constitution should not be sorting and solving the matter of promotion. That should be left to the independent body potentially running your league. So I already see that. And there are other points in regard to giving players a certain level of representation. Another violation of FIFA rules and regulations. Individuals normally are not given spots. It's normally either clubs, the leagues, the players' association body. Those can be given spots in an executive body of a federation, not normally individuals. You're representing someone. What are your earlier predictions of upcoming India versus Thailand and India versus Hong Kong? Maximus, to me, let's see who make the final squad. For me, Thailand is a good test case for the Indian team. That's important for me. We have to win against Hong Kong, right? That's something. Nageshwar has taken objections for FIFA, has made the necessary changes. I guess you're aware that FIFA is also a party in the AIFF case going into the Supreme Court. FIFA is not a party to the case. Who says that to you? Then the case would have been solved in 22. What was the outcome of the FIFA ban? The FIFA ban was made on 15th of August. Clear-cut slap in the face of Indian football. You couldn't have made it on a worse day. What was discussed between Supreme Court, Indian government, FIFA, AFC? Put in an interim body, hold election, put in an interim body, get the Under Women's World Cup out of the way, hold another, sort out the constitution, and then have an election. We're talking about 2022, late 2022, that was supposed to be done. We're now close to mid 2025, and those so-called consultations on AFC have not been had. And if you have listened to the last two hearings, what certain things that certain lawyers have said in front of a Supreme Court bench, people with, if the Supreme Court would like to understand how to formulate the right constitution, not only for the AIFF, but for all sporting bodies in India, and even for the IOA as the Indian Olympic Association, they would bring in foreign governance expert to explain to them the first fact, which the Supreme Court has still not understood. Law of sport stands above the law of the land. You know? Because that has not been incorporated. So therefore, FIFA is not, I don't know who's told you this, and with all due respect, even to a Marcus doesn't know everything, right? Someone has told him that, and that's why he's put it out. There has not been proper consultations about these things with FIFA and AFC, right? And the way at the moment the things are going, it's calling for another FIFA ban. I said it last time around, people laughed in my face, and I would say it this time again, because the Supreme Court of India, the government of India have not understood how sports governance works. Is it perfect? No, it's not. It's a different kind of discussion. But if there are lawyers who go to the Supreme Court and say, oh, this is the case, and the Supreme Court justices do not know that they're being lied to. No one makes them aware that they're being lied to, but they believe those facts. That means that they are, sorry, with all due respect, gentlemen, you are not in a position to call on an AIFF constitution, because the people who are taking a call on this are not qualified to do that. You need governance people in sports with an understanding of governance, and then top level. You know, there are a lot of very, very good Indian origin lawyers who work in sports, specifically also in football. We're not doing that. I see Max coach play football by 4-2-3-1 formation. I think this is basic formation. Max match play, but there's no default formation. No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe what you watch, but I see a lot of formations these days around. Even our so-called legends don't answer when I ask them about Indian football clubs at continental level performance by comparing lower ranked nations team reaching finals of UFC. But that's the reality, no? I saw some of your questions you asked in that WhatsApp group of coaches and managers, and then people are celebrating things. Sorry, it's not working. So sorry, it's the reality, right? Because these people will accountability at all levels. We do not have accountability at any level. Indian football is in a very, very dangerous state, and this is just another example. Surya Kiran, hopefully I've not put you off, but this is my understanding of things. I've been one of the authors of the roadmap for FIFA and AFC. I worked for them on that, right? So therefore, I think I can have an opinion that if I would have been asked, I would have told them what to do, not to do. I tried. I helped in 2022. I tried to help. I tried to intervene in my personal capacity to try and come in and say, guys, you are going down a wrong path. But nobody wanted to listen. And these people walked us into a ban. And that is something that I'm saying, and those who understand, they don't come forward and don't speak about it because it is that's the problem. In my opinion, he should have stayed with Interkashi or chose a club like Odisha FC or Hadwar FC who are in desperate requirement of Indian forwards. Given what is to me, he should have stayed in Interkashi. His real breakthrough has been at Interkashi over the last 2 years. He's been a Bangalore FC B player. He was never an ISL player. So that's the challenge, right? He did play well at East Bengal, but that was East Bengal in the I-League. Now it's East Bengal in the ISL. East Bengal 5 years in the ISL has been not what East Bengal should be, needs to be. Now I think some new guys came after some iterations, he will get the knowledge after having some session and spending some time in Indian football. I hope so, Kumar. Surya Kiran Bhai, Insta Reels info you giving to us, says Geron Rare. Mostly giving lecture and try to correct everyone, every institution, even after knowing that it's not their jurisdiction. Kumar, I can't say that. I don't know, you know. So therefore, for me, again, I can only talk on the football part. I'm not an expert on other things, but I can speak on football and something, let's see. Sleeping giant, India, wake up. Giant Uzbekistan, maybe Central Asian country. Yeah, but Master, you're comparing India with an Uzbekistan. And this is for me a prime example. Uzbekistan were close to us a while back. But they've always been better than us. Much better than us. So these comparisons don't work. We are at a different, much low. Saudi, I hate to say that, we're at a much lower level than these countries. And that is where we need to go. Your and my patience level is a different level for Indian football when we see people speaking random things. Again, rare. I try to keep my cool. I've lost my patience a few times in the last few weeks because I'm fed up of people coming in and claiming things and quoting people and do those people know talking about. That is my problem. I say, if I'm wrong, again, accountability starts. I start with myself. So that's something which is very, very difficult. So therefore, for me, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. But trying to keep my cool. I know you as well. It's difficult. Let's see. Blue says, by the way, let's take a hypothetical situation. No ISL from next season, no FSL. I mean, Jeremy McLaren has 3 years contract left, and I can only manage aside just thinking about the losses. Blue, no. This is force majeure. The league is dissolved, and theoretically, all the contracts of all the players go into, you can tear them apart. That's the theory. So for me, that's the reality. I've seen certain foreigners, or I know a couple of foreigners who were very interested to come to India. Were very interested to come and play here, but looking at the situation, looking at the issues and problems that India is facing, that they've decided to go against it, right? So therefore, for me, it's a reality that certain players are unsure what is happening. In the Pakistan situation, the conflict is not helped as well. So therefore, for me, let's wait and see what happens. But this, and people think that the things will be cleared the day that the Supreme Court comes out with the judgment. How quickly can the AIFF theoretically then hold an election? Right? Reliance's contract runs out on the 31st of December. Right? And now that can we get someone on your podcast from Nopangli? Kumar, I will try. As I said, I've said it a few times in the last few days and weeks. I've been bogged down by work. Unable. Actually, I wanted to do a lot so far. So yeah, I'll try. I'll surely try. I've seen SofaScore many coaches play by basic defaulted 4-2-3-1 formation. Yes, they put other formation. Hypermaster, don't go by the formation put by SofaScore. That is a formation that they have. And if you see some of the players playing in this, playing in that, because some just strikers are actually playing as midfielders or playing in other positions, don't go by their formations. Yes, some don't go by a different formation. Yeah. Did the conflict also make an impact about these things, or just the AIFF and lowest point, the reason for no interest in foreigners? I think, Blue, the AIFF is there. I think this conflict, a war-like situation, I think a lot of players will think twice before coming now to India. Now, as per Indian standards, everything has cooled down. Looks to be fine. But if you were thinking of moving to India, playing in India, and oh, listen, it's a lot of money. Would you come or would you go elsewhere? That's my thought, right? So therefore, I've not heard any real big name considering of coming to India this summer. Last few years, we've always had some names floating around, some ex-legends, maybe, okay, Jay McLaren is, is a big name, Cummings is a big name, so those guys, yeah, but so therefore at the moment, let's see. I think these realities of India, the realities of Indian football, don't want to talk about them, but we have to talk about them, and that's the reality. So what's your thoughts on Chelsea FC? From a top-class team, they started playing like chokers these days. And Todd Bowley has, I feel, again, let's not talk about Roman Abramovich, where he got his money from, this and that. But Roman Abramovich, with his money, has built Chelsea, right? And they had a structure, they had a form. Even Thomas Tuchel was doing a very, very well. Abramovich got in trouble. But since then, Todd Bowley and his partners came in, tried and changing a lot. I don't know. As you say, they no longer. It's not a good sign. Sergi, why FIFA put ban because of neutral sector? FIFA put a ban because the Supreme Court of India got involved in the affairs of the AIFF. So the thing that is now being claimed by people that no longer is an issue. So therefore, the Supreme Court had to step back. The government had to step in and help, and then FIFA pulled out. Some IPL players left too for the situation. Blue, listen, this is not a situation where you want to be stuck in a country which is in that situation. Be it IPL or Punjab Super League, I think was the Pakistani version, right? So, yeah, and certain players would rather say, listen, I will not take the money, cancel my contract, I will not come back. So that's going to be there. So very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Indian football itself is and these things around it don't help, sadly. And I hope we do better. But very, very difficult. Right, 1 hour and 38 minutes now complete. Once more, the reminder: please like and share the video. 16 likes so far. Thank you very much. Yeah. And share with others, and subscribe to the channel. And I say also the short videos, as I said, Mohammedan Sporting is something that I did. It's on that. I felt Aladdin Ajare, great that he's remained. Watch the other videos that I've put out there, and do support the channel in general. And let's keep on growing. A new country is going to born support in 1 or 2 years. I don't know. That's going to happen. But since you're new here, session for you: observe, learn, and ask things from our side. You can gain real knowledge and share with others to our platform. Thanks, Rare, for that piece of advice. Hyper Master also watched some of the older discussions. Yeah, some of the older played maybe at double its speed. You don't spend 2 hours on that. I think we've had a lot of discussions over the last 2 years. I mean, this is today video number 870. Watch the short videos. I think there are a lot of explainers in there where we've had series on development, a lot of interesting stuff that's been there. Watch those videos. I think there's something always to learn, and good that you're learning here. And to me, guys, we have to try and grow this together. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And therefore, thanks for your support, for coming. And so let's try and grow Indian football. That's, for me, bringing it to an end. As I said, like, share, and subscribe arunfoot. Visit my other social medias as well. Visit arunfoot.com, and I'll be back. See you then. Bye. Good night.